What's going on, everyone? Here's John. I didn't know if he was going to click in on time. What's up, bro?
Hey there, man. How are you doing?
It's Wednesday.
It is Wednesday, and some people call it Hump Day, but I don't think I've gotten over the hump yet. I don't, man. It was a great day at work. That was great. Had some stressful things go on in the emails while I was at work, and I was just like, I don't know what to tell you. Spent some time with one of my aunties, who's like, dude, she's maybe one of the most badass aunties that exists out there. I can't tell you all of the things that she's done, but let's just say, she just pushed papers. Okay. She pushed papers in, the intelligence world. And so she's just like one of those people where, like, that she knows some things that she's not telling you. Right. But like, she just has that vibe. She's just like, well, have you ever thought about it critically? And then you think about whatever it was that you said, and you're like, all the time. But when she says it like that, you're like, man, maybe I need to think a little bit more about this. Right. But shout out to everybody. Happy Wednesday. Let's get things cranked off or cranked up. I don't know. Cranked off sounds crazy. But make sure that you've gone over to Twitter and that you've reposted the stream. We got a bunch of stuff going on in the news today. And yeah, man. I mean, I feel like so much stuff. You told me that while I was taking a nap that Bitcoin hit 98,000.
Well, we're sitting at pretty much 98,000 right now.
Eesh.
But the big news is I take it back. I doubted her. I doubted the governor of Arizona, the great state that I live in. I doubted her. I thought she was going to veto the bill just because it was an opposite party that pushed it through Congress, and she signed it into law. So now now Arizona will have a Bitcoin strategic fund, and they'll be using the sale of unclaimed assets to pay for it.
That's pretty wild.
Which is awesome.
That's pretty wild. I mean, we love that. We love to see it. We love that excitement going on. I think that the Bitcoin strategic reserve is something that all of the states will eventually come around to. But right now, it's interesting, right? We have mixed reviews. We have states and countries that are pushing really hard to try to push this forward. And then we have other states and nations like the UK saying, we're not going to get into it because, we don't think that that's such a smart idea because it's a volatile asset. We don't want to follow America's lead, which, it sounded passive aggressive, but at the end of the day, a lot of people are laughing at El Salvador, right?
Yeah.
Or they like,
I'll look at them.
Yeah. I mean, they're doing some great stuff. So they've multiplied the treasury of their entire country in the span of a few years. So think about that. There are not many people that can say that they've done that for an entire country. El Salvador was
Naib is like, because he's not only done that, he's been like a godsend for El Salvador. He's cleaned the country up in so many ways. We're not going to get into him now, but I mean, having the Bitcoin reserve, I think now they're supposedly like the safest country in Central America.
Yep, they're the safest country. El Salvador is the safest country in Central America, and it was one of the most dangerous just a little bit ago. So, I mean, he's really done a number on things, I would say, for the good.
Yeah.
For the good.
Love or hate his politics or tactics, you can't deny the outcome. Yeah. Whether it be telling the IMF to go screw themselves or cleaning up the city. He don't give AF. He's going to make his country good. And you got to respect it.
What I will say is my favorite thing about him, though, was that basically the IMF said that they weren't going to give his country any more loans unless he backed down on the Bitcoin talk. And so he said he would. Then he took the money and he bought more Bitcoin.
Right?
That's what we like. That's a good person out there. He gets what's going on. So, man, I am trying to get my Twitter squared away, but it wants to send me a text message and my phone is elsewhere. So what we're going to do is go straight into Market Watch so I can make sure that I got all my articles and everything up when we get to my part. But first, let's reset the room. So Desert, hit us with it.
So everybody, do us a favor, hit that like button, subscribe, and notification bell. If you're on X, tag some DGens, give us a repost, all that good stuff. We go live Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. PST, bringing you the daily news nightly. Let's get it. All right. While John retrieves his phone, let's take a look here. Let's get the freshest data. Coming in at 3.12 trillion, down 1.5%. 120 in volume. A lot of volume for not only being a Wednesday. I guess Wednesdays are kind of high volume, but being a Fed day also. Look at that Bitcoin dominance up to 62.3. Ethereum drops to 7.06. And when we come down here to look at Bitcoin, 97,954, up 0.9 on the 24-hour. Hell, it's up like 1 or 2%, or like 1% just on the past 2 hours. So we got Ethereum coming at 1824, down 0.3. XRP at 214, down 0.7. BNB at 601, down 0.3. Solana, 148, up 0.2. Doge at 1745, up 1.1. Cardano at 6812, up 0.3. And Tron at 2488, up 1.4. Let's see here. We got Sui still holding 13 at 342, up 0.6. Now let's take a look at the biggest gainers. EOS. Wow, EOS for some reason getting a pump up on the week too, but EOS up 16.5%. Stacks up 10. Bitcoin Cash, who cares? Pi Network up 5.5. Quant up 4. Maker up 3. Pepe up 3.5. Celestia up 3.4. Not too bad. I mean, it does drop off pretty quickly, but we got a little bit of green. Let's look at the biggest losers. Virtuals down 8%. Fartcoin down 4. Optimism down 2. Render down 2.4. BitGet down 1.9. FET down 1.8. Aave down 1.6. And then it just kind of peters out after that. Going over here and looking at TradFi. Let's go. Let's see. So the U.S. had a good day. Up 284 points on the Dow, 24 on the S&P, 48 on the NASDAQ, and 6.4 on the Russell, with the VIX coming down, 4.89%. So that's a good day. Even though the Fed did not cut rates, and we'll get a little bit into that later also, but everybody knew he wasn't going to cut rates. And the reasoning that he talked about was kind of weird to me, but we'll see. It is opposite of what Trump's saying. I'll tell you that much.
Well, what's Trump saying, man?
Well, I mean, you say it best, right? The country's in great shape. Everything's going good. We need to lower the interest rates.
Never had in the history of countries.
Right?
Never been a big economy in the world.
As Powell is saying the opposite. He says inflation is starting to creep back up. He's worried about unemployment claims. That's his dual mandate. So they didn't want to lower interest rates to make sure they're in the best position For what? I don't know. Is he going to freaking raise them again? I don't think he's going to raise them again. But he's talking about stagflation and everything. And
a lot of people have been talking about stagflation, dude. Viva's posts have been talking about stagflation for months.
No, I mean, it's a real thing. It's a so is shrinkflation.
Yep.
Go look at a box of cereal. You know what I mean? That what they used to come in like 14 ounces, right? Now a box of cereal is actually like 12 ounces.
All I know is that every time I've ever bought a box of cereal in the last 4 years, I've been like, that's it?
Right. They're getting smaller, bro.
It's crazy.
Crazy.
I'm like, are you sure? Did I get the wrong one? You know? Is it allowed to have this much air in it?
Right. Looking at pre-market, the Dow is up 81 points, S&P up 20, NASDAQ up 111, and then we have oil in the 10-year. Let's flip over to Asia. Asia, we got the Aussie is pretty much flat at 0.04. The Nikkei flat at 0.05. Looks like China's getting a little pump with Hong Kong up 30.36% and Shanghai up 0.21%. So Trump, let's see, what's this? Trump digs in. And supposedly, I don't know if I tagged you in it or not, but supposedly tomorrow at 10 a.m., I'm going to assume that is Eastern time, Trump to make a big announcement on a trade deal with and it was all in like bold letter, all in capital caps. It was like, the trade negotiation, trade deal with a very big country, well respected, all his adjectives that he freaking uses and everything like that. So, yeah, I think I tagged you in it. I don't know if you got your Twitter running or not.
Yep. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I should. It's about that moment that we should transition and I should have everything up. I just found some things that I thought were funny that I actually missed earlier because these came out in the last 2 hours. So CZ asked Trump for a pardon on his money laundering conviction.
Nice.
And I thought that was funny. It's an interesting play because it really kind of doesn't matter. But sure, you've got more money than God. You spent 4 months in jail already, and now you've I don't know, taken a step back from being the head of this massive company, right? Binance, one of the biggest exchanges in the world by a large margin. And then, you still have control. You can't say CZ doesn't have influence and power and that he doesn't have money. So it's kind of like, I don't know, it's like, cool. You get a pardon. What changes?
I mean, didn't he just pardoned Arthur Hayes and all those guys, right? The BitMEX guys.
Yep.
I think he just pardoned them because there was a hit piece in the MSM about Trump pardons, whatever, rich freaking fraud people. I don't know. I can't remember what the heck, whatever sensationalized hit piece they decided to come up with. But yeah, it was about Arthur Hayes and his 2 partners, I think, in the Bitunix, BitMEX, something like, I don't know.
100%. But I thought it was interesting because it's kind of like, okay, when you're a regular person and you have some kind of thing on your record, it prevents you from doing things. But when you're CZ, what do you need? You got billions. What do you need? What do you get from that? But I get it. Cool. So I thought that was
fun. It's not like he's got to go for a job interview and worry about a background check.
Exactly. And it's not it's going to be like, hey, I want to work with you, but you got this one thing, and I'm not sure if I want to make billions of dollars with you.
Right.
I don't know. So I just thought that was funny, but cool.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing, because CZ Is he an American? He is an American citizen, right?
I think he's Canadian.
Is he Canadian?
I feel like he's Canadian, but I'm not sure.
I know him and Elon are buddies. I don't know if they went to college or not. Let's see here. Is CZ of Binance American?
Yeah, he's Canadian.
Okay.
Yeah. He was born in China. His family immigrated to Canada, and he holds Canadian citizenship.
There we go. So why does he even care?
Well, that's
like I can't go to Canada because I'm a felon in the United States. So does that mean CZ can't go to Canada now because he's a felon in the United States?
I mean, maybe. Like that could be the reason, you know?
It could be. I doubt it, but it could be.
I doubt it. And I don't know if you can keep out a man like that from your country,
Right.
because I mean, he'll just go on one of his other private jets or go on a friend's private jet. Like, I don't know.
We know back in the day, so when Tyson got out of prison and somebody wanted to interview him, it was some journalist in Great Britain or England. Tyson couldn't go to England because he had been convicted or sentenced to more than 5 years in prison. So they had to meet in France to do the interview.
That's wild. We love that. But all right. So thank you guys for joining us. We're about to hop into the headlines. And so do us a favor, hit us with a like, a repost, share this with a friend. And we come to you live every day, Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific time, bringing you the daily news nightly. Join us at Rare Evo, the top blockchain conference, August 6th through 10th, 2025, at Caesars Palace in Las Vegas. The top blockchain projects like Algorand, Midnight, HBAR, ICP, Thorchain, and Igon, and many more are going to be there. This is definitely a must for blockchain enthusiasts and fans. Use discount code CryptoNightly to save on your tickets and to support the channel. Don't miss it. We can't wait to see you there. It's going to be a blast. All righty.
Speaking of CZ, we might be getting a little Asian pump right now.
We love that.
Yeah.
We love that. But did you happen to see this? This about the waters of Lake Michigan?
Estimated to be over 9,000 years old. Older than even Stonehenge.
9,000 years older than, yeah. Older than Stonehenge. They're making some claims here that are unfounded, but as far as there being carvings of mastodons and like some of these things, the specific animals it talks about, people are claiming there's a cobra, an animal that never existed in North America. But this was just interesting. This is in Lake Michigan. So like, I like this kind of stuff because I always kind of talk about or mention the things that we don't know, right? There's so many things we don't know right here. So this is in Lake Michigan, right? This is in the United States. And so they found this ancient stone circle older than Stonehenge, and I thought that was cool. And there's a lot of people that are looking into it right now. Obviously,
Lake Michigan's massive, bro. It's like an ocean.
Yeah.
We used to go there every summer when I was a kid, and it's like an ocean. It's crazy.
Yeah, and so I thought this was cool. I liked it. I'm definitely excited to see what comes from it. What's up, W Silvers?
We both keep hitting the thing. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Right. What's up, W Silvers? Thank you for joining us.
What's going on?
What's going on? So I thought this was cool. I just wanted to mention it because it's like, we always talk about other things, other places that are cool, but this is like right here. So, and then
yes, we are. Hold on, I want to address this. Yes, we are back. We were on a hiatus for like a week and a half because due to IRL jobs and scheduling conflicts, I'm moving. John's back in the States. He's working crazy hours. I was working crazy hours, and my work schedule will be changing once I move. So, but we think this time, 7 p.m. PST is a winner. And we think we will be able to maintain this. So we are back.
And for reference, okay, I am on the East Coast right now. Desert is on the West Coast.
Yes.
I work at 5 a.m, which means I have to get up at least 4. And right now, East Coast or West Coast time, 7 p.m. is like 10 p.m. my time, right? So we definitely had to do a little bit.
I got to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning too, but it's also only 7 o'clock here.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the whole, we had to make concessions. But thank you for joining us. We appreciate you. And thank you for sticking around. This is the best trader in crypto, Richard Hart. The final is in. He called the top and the bottom on the day. And he has a self-help book for anybody that has any problems with depression. Anyways, yeah, I don't know. There's so many thoughts, conflicting views I have on Richard Hart, but he went out and made a video. I didn't post the video, but basically he won his court case. He didn't get settled. He didn't get it dropped. He won the court case against the SEC. And so
he refused to settle, didn't he?
He refused to settle. Well, that was what he said, but maybe, sure.
Right.
Right. Yeah, maybe he refused to settle, but maybe, I don't know. He has a really interesting ways with words. And so if you pay attention to him sometimes, it's really difficult.
Yeah, he's an asshole.
I would just say it's really difficult for me personally to take everything he says at face value all the time. So we'll just stay with that and we'll be, literally politically correct. I thought this was funny. I love Gabriel Haynes.
Sorry for the cussing, people.
Sorry for the cussing, yeah. But Gabriel Haynes, he says he's at Sonic Labs. This is used to be FTM, but the foundation behind Sonic, previously FTM or Phantom, Andre Cronje. There were a lot of different huge problems in their ecosystem that were kind of because of him or because of him moving different positions.
So I think if I remember this right, it was a couple of years ago.
Wait, hold on. Let me address Third Patriot's comment. Okay. So the thing about Hex is the value of time. What is it? The time value of money. So what you do is you get all of your money in your life savings. You stake it forever. And the longer you stake it, the more reward you get. So you want to become a trillionaire, just stake it for 30 years. Meanwhile, Richard Hart has the biggest diamond in the world, he says, right? The largest watch collection. He has 2 of every car, right? But you stake your money forever. I'm not saying that there's anything malicious happening there. I'm not saying that, maybe you put money in on one side and it comes out on another side. Because why would he do that? He says he's already rich. But what I will say is I'm not a Hexican, but I did make some money on the ecosystem with Desert a while back with Bro Token. So that was
we made a grip on Bro.
That was the only money we ever made on anything related to Ben Armstrong. But it was maybe worth it that one time. So I don't know. The Pulse ecosystem and Hex ecosystem is a little bit.
It should have got a pump, and you never. And that's another thing about Hex. It's not on CoinGecko. It's not on CoinMarketCap, to my understanding. But by market cap, it should be in the top 10 or something like that. I'll look that up as John goes on. So
yeah. But definitely Hex is an interesting ecosystem. I will say the user experience wasn't too bad, but I did have some problems trying to cash out my Bro because the transactions failed, even though the transactions were cheap. So there was that. And then this just in, Coinbase discloses internal SEC communications regarding XRP, along with a request from New York officials to back the classification as ETH as a security, of ETH as a security. Interesting. So they were really just trying to mess up our whole vibe, and Coinbase was just like, you know what, we're going to fight them. And then this was something that's come up a bunch. Very exciting news. We were talking the other day about how Charles, IOHK Charles, has put out that he is spending a lot of his own resources. Well, not even a lot of his own resources. We'll say he's spending hundreds of millions of dollars, which is a bit of his own resources, in order to fund development for Cardano. And so specifically around Ouroboros Laos, which is supposed to be an update, an upgrade to the transaction finality time and kind of how the transactions work. So this will speed up transactions to faster than faster or as fast as like the SUI transactions and the Solana transactions, but actually completing the transactions. There would be no failed transactions. And I'm saying this specifically towards Solana, where they have very high throughput, but they have very high failed transactions. SUI, I haven't had that experience on SUI. I think SUI is probably one of my favorites as far as like the user experience. And so Cardano is about to get to that place. And one of the things he said was that he's paying devs to have 24-hour code writing shifts in order to implement Laos faster. There was like a 7 to 8 month timeline, but now they have 24-hour devs. So working in shifts. So they're hoping to finish much quicker. And then he put out this today.
It's about time that we get to enjoy being the fastest cryptocurrency on the planet, and you get to decide how fast that is. Your foot's on the accelerator pedal, and that's good protocol design. And I love the fact that we never once compromised our rigor in the process. Everybody told us to move fast and break things, and we decided this time to be the tortoise, and paradoxically, we are going to win the race because of it.
So this is pretty bullish. I'm sure that if he's saying this publicly, that he's probably like witnessed test transactions, already seen things working well, because oftentimes we've seen in the past that this is what happens, right? He works very closely with something in the ecosystem, and then he's watching it happen. And then he has that insight. Not necessarily everybody's going to have that insight. So it makes me believe that we're probably closer to Ouroboros Laos than we would have thought, right? Or that they've made some awesome breakthroughs, or that they can replicate it or use it on a private blockchain, right? Which is the test. That's the beginning. So this is exciting. But Cardano would have the fastest crypto on the planet. And he's saying where the user actually gets to decide how fast that transaction is going to be.
I like it.
Yep. And then I saw this from Martini Guy. I'm not sure the actual context of this, but he says, breaking, Charles Hoskinson announces plans to make Cardano ADA into an AI crypto. So this is something I'm going to look into more. I really love the AI aspect. But I thought that was an interesting take. Charles has talked about AI being built on and working on Cardano a lot. He's talked about AGIX. He's talked about the way that blockchain is useful in crypto and Bitcoin and different things are useful for AI to learn and to improve. And so this doesn't really surprise me, but I'm interested to find out how that they're going to implement or execute that, right?
Yeah.
All right. And then let's see. So Arizona signs the strategic Bitcoin reserve into law. That's what we talked about. Becomes the second state to pass a strategic Bitcoin law reserve bill into law. And this is bullish. We love that for Arizona. I think a lot more states are going to move forward on this. I think that even the ones that turn it down this time, I think it's going to be kind of like legalizing cannabis, where there were a lot of states that were just like, no, 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 until they had no choice, right? And so I think that the people that want to be kind of like detractors are going to be detractors only until they can't, right? You can only push a rock uphill for so long before you get tired. And I think that this is going to be the situation with Bitcoin. I think it's inevitable.
Third Patriot. Did the House already vote on that? That's correct me if I'm wrong. That's the stablecoin bill, correct? The Genius Act. Something about innovation in the United States, something like that. I don't know if it already passed the House or if it was introduced in the Senate first. Haven't actually really looked at that.
Yeah, we don't like that. I feel like a lot of the stablecoin bills are kind of like to usher in pretty much a future CBDC, if not now, then later. I think that there are certain aspects that are good. I think if we're embracing digital currency and things like that, and creating a framework where people can use stable coins with their bank and stuff, I think that's cool. But it's just worrisome to me when you have the government making rules about stable coins, because oftentimes it's they slip some stuff in that we don't like, you know.
I agree. It's definitely a slippery slope, but it is also a necessity.
Yeah.
We have to have some kind of regulatory framework, and they're not going to work on the broader crypto market until they can nail down some framework on stable coins. So
that's true. And I agree.
Hopefully it's just like John said, though, hopefully it's not a Trojan horse.
Yeah.
You know, so
like BlackRock, we wanted them here, and now they're here.
Now they're here, and damn it.
Yep. Damn it. All right. And then, so we talked about Arizona. This is what I was talking about with Binance founder CZ asking Trump for a pardon for the money laundering conviction, which we know is actually not a big deal. What it was Binance was using mixers in order to pay employees and stuff like that, which was a common practice that was safe because you don't want all your employees to know what everybody's making. And you don't want everybody to know what you're paying for different services. So when you're a business that manages business and does all your transactions on a public ledger that anybody can look at, it makes a lot of sense to use a mixer or some kind of privacy tool. And so they were basically making him take the blame for the fact that they did that long before there were any rules or regulations against it. So it was like a retroactive punishment, pretty much.
Look, if you scroll down a little bit right there, Satoshi says Bitcoin price cycle is 10x bigger, and he has empathy for ETF buyers.
Where? Oh. What? Oh. 10x
Adam
bigger.
Back.
I'm back.
I'm telling you, Adam Back is Satoshi, bro.
I don't know.
I watched that video and his whole body language and everything, and he was adamant about saying, I am not Satoshi. The dude looks scared ishless, you know. I'm telling you.
And you're over here like, yeah, that's what Satoshi would say.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, tell me you're not Satoshi, or tell me you're Satoshi while not telling me you're Satoshi.
Yeah. It sounds like Desert has his like weird neighbor like locked up in his house, and he's like, prove to me that you're not an alien. Prove it to me right now.
I told you that in confidence, bro. I told you that in confidence.
Man. All right. And then, so I thought this was kind of cool. Stripe rolls out stablecoin accounts in over 100 countries. This is pretty big. Oh my gosh. Oh. So stablecoin demand is on the rise, with market capitalization surpassing 231 billion in May. And then, so this rollout from Stripe is pretty big. just in general, because this means that we are getting closer to mass adoption. The infrastructure is being set. Rather, we want these guys actually in control of things. Who knows? I'd rather it be person to person, you know.
Well, Stripe is one of the biggest platforms, right?
Yeah.
Payment platforms.
Yep. Stripe is one of the biggest payment platforms. So this is not really a surprise. But this,
so, I mean, technically, it has to adopt stable coins for us to reach that next level.
Yeah.
Because if the largest payment processor in the world, you know, POS, point of sale payment processor, doesn't accept stable coins, then we're screwed.
No, 100%. But you know what I'm saying.
I get you.
But I'm excited about this. I think this is cool. I think that crypto is going to become way more accessible. I think large degrees more accessible to people. And I can't even overstate or understate or explain enough how crazy I think that the barriers to entry into technology have gone down, right? I've been able to make a website with AI assistance. I think that you can play games on Sui and Polygon without needing a wallet. Your wallet is made with your Gmail sign-in, right? So it says you want to make an account with Gmail, and then you've already done all of the steps. I think that crypto is going to become so accessible for people. I don't think that they're going to know that they're using crypto, but it's very, very crazy, right? It's very crazy. But so that's what I got there. That's what we got there. That's what we got as far as headlines and the news and things going on. And shout out to Gabriel Haynes. Oh man, you found something. What's going on? Is Bitcoin over 100K already?
No, but we pumping.
Oh, we pumping.
We pumping.
All right. So everybody, do us a favor and like and repost while we bring to you the daily news nightly. We're about to get into the charts section where Desert is going to give us expert TA. And I know what you guys are thinking. Please don't say that it's going to go down, Desert, because then it's going to go down. So let's go ahead and get into it. Let's see what's going on.
We need a new transition.
Yes.
And I need to know what we would call it. What is it like? Like TA something?
Making the markets.
Banging the markets?
Making the markets.
Oh, making the markets. Okay. Well, let's take a look. Boom. Bitcoin is at 98,690. I think it hit 99. Let's see here. Nope, it hit 98,874. So, as we've been saying over the past couple of days, that it looked like we were just going to hit this and kind of roll over unless we got some positive news, that the fundamental news is kind of driving the market right now. But we do have, so this is the daily, we do have some confluence to the upside. Is the rally sustainable? I don't know. Like I said, this is not the next leg. This is like a relief rally. I still, until
Desert.
Hold on. We're gonna pump, bro. I think we're gonna hit 100K. We may hit 100K tonight. Hold on. Just don't long the top, everybody. Please don't long the top. You know what I mean? And we'll break it down. I'll go down a little further. I'm not going to be Mr. Negative Nelly because we did get above the point of control. We got above 96,528. We got above it today. Or we got above it yesterday. We closed a candle above it. Let me make that bigger. Let's make this bigger. I don't know why I'm always showing the full screen. There we go. So we pumped above it yesterday, closed, stayed above it, printed another candle today. And then in the past, 2 hours and 45 minutes, we've printed this candle right here, this 1.68% candle. So everything is looking good. The Fed, the FOMC meeting, boom, we're past it. It's gone. We ain't got to worry until the middle of June now. Like the third week of June is the next time we have to worry about, or second week of June is the next time we have to worry about a Fed meeting. Okay. Arizona, New Hampshire signs in yesterday. Arizona signs in today. Texas, SB, whatever that was, 125 or something like that, passes in the Senate. We got the stable coin, the Genius Act being voted on tomorrow in the Senate. Tariffs are coming back around. So I am bullish. I am positive. You know what I mean?
But
well, I just don't think this isn't the next leg.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? We are going to get a pullback. It is not up and to the right to Valhalla from here to the end of the year. That's not going to happen. You know what I mean? The summer always brings a lull. That's all I'm saying. Just hedge your bets. Don't long the top. If you were underwater on some coins that you thought were a little sus, well, when they pump, maybe pull some profits this time. And we should be here to tell you when we think the market's going to turn. But I do think we are going to get a nice pump. We quite possibly making it over this POC is huge right here. This in general is huge. And if we look at the bigger time frame, so let's say I'm not going to go with the wicks. I'm going to go right to 106. And if you look, we'll even bring that down a little bit because there's a high volume node right there. Boom. So we'll say about 104. This is a good range. Now that we've blown past this, as long as we can hold this, there's no reason why we can't get to 104,000. None. Daily Stokes pointed back to the upside. RSI pointed across the 14 moving average, pointed to the upside in the overbought territory, but it can stay here for several days. It only takes one good pump to get us back to 104. And we start playing this range right here. We go out to the bigger one. Stokes on the weekly still pointed to the upside. RSI pointed to the upside. We're across the 21. We're across the SR level. The next we do have on the weekly, it looks like we got a little bit of a node right there at 101, and obviously 100,000 being a psychological number. We could take a little stop at 100, but there's no reason why we can't get to 104. You can see it's actually 104 is actually above where we've closed these weekly candles at. So the highest weekly close was 104,447. Okay. This is at 104,893. And then we dump back down for there, put in a lower high. For this to be for me to believe that this is the next leg of the journey, we would have to break this high right here, because we're still got a lower high on the weekly. You know what I mean? As it is right now, obviously the candle does not close for 3 days and 22 hours, but this is going to be the trend line. And it looks like we are right on the trend line right there. If we take those 2 points, so as it is right now, we are at resistance on the trend line. There's only 2 points of contact, but that's because Bitcoin's never been this high before. There's only 2 points in existence of Bitcoin being this high. So it is at a trend line. If it bucks this trend and goes, man, 104 is definitely possible. And maybe it is the next leg. Maybe we get like a triple top. Who knows? We could pump into June, and then we get a nice correction, and middle of June, late June. But if they cut rates in June, that might be enough to keep sustaining us into Q3. I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibilities that we have a red Q1 and we get 3 consecutive green Q2, Q3, Q4. Quite possible. So, I mean, I do like where it's at. The fact that we were able to break. This was the main thing for me. This was my main thing that was keeping me not bearish, but like micro bearish. You know what I mean? Not in the macro, obviously, but the fact that we were able to reclaim this on the daily. I'm sure when we work our way down, we have reclaimed every 200, you know. So, and you can see right here, boom, as soon as we broke earlier today, this was yesterday. So we broke the 200, we pumped, we went sideways back to the 21. This is the model right here. You guys know I preach about it all the time. You break the 200, you long, boom. Then the 21 comes up, gives you a bullish cross. You wait for the pullback to the 21, boom, kind of fell through. And then, you know, a little bit before we went live, boom, took off again. So that is the model. And we are above it on multiple time frames. And it's not just Bitcoin. We got SWI. SWI's up 6% in the past, you know, a little over 2.5 hours. Almost looks like a real ugly inverted head and shoulder there on the 1 hour. I mean, I don't even know if I would call that a head and shoulder, but, you know, kind of like that. But we did break back above the 348. So my target would be back up to the 378. We may just wick there and drop down, kind of like we did these past ones right here. You know, we broke through April 24th, hit our head, boom, and we just bounced. So we could have just transitioned from, in SWI, we have made the transition. As long as this holds and we print a couple hourly candles here, we could have made the transition back to this range right here. So as you can see, we were in this range for quite a while. We lost it. So we played in this range and between the SR levels, but now we're breaking back into that top range. And I would be targeting 378. We are a little overbought on the stochastics. So we might just go up, maybe print a couple candles, go sideways while the stochastics reset. Maybe the RSI comes back down a little bit and then we take off again. But if you look here on the hourly, in my opinion, this is getting ready to play out. Hourly, 200. Break the 200, long, pump. Broke through SR level. We've gapped the 21. Now we have to mind the fact that this needs to come back. So this is probably what I would be looking at. I'd be waiting for the 21 to kind of like go up like this, boom, boom, boom. You know, then maybe the price, you know, maybe we get another little pump, boom, boom, boom. Maybe come back, get a retest at the SR level, kiss the 21, and then gone back up to 378. That's, you know, and we're going to leave this here. We are going to see tomorrow night if that scenario plays out. Obviously, it's not going to follow that exactly. But what is that? That is tomorrow. Actually, that's tomorrow at 3 in the morning. So where is it go? Tomorrow at what? 1700, I believe. So right there. So this is when we were going to go live tomorrow. Let's see. We'll say I expect SWI to be in this area right here tomorrow. We'll see how close. We'll see how close that is. We'll just leave that up there.
That would be cool. That would be crazy to watch. Because remember, I mean, you've got some great calls that we've seen on the show.
Right. Yeah, and we'll see. It could, but I mean, it may just take off. You know, so Asia's up right now and they're buying, obviously. You know, but what happens when it starts working its way west? So what happens when we get to Russia? We get to Europe. We get to the East Coast tomorrow morning. It could just, you know, all this bullish news. Trump comes out tomorrow morning, 10 a.m., like, Boom, we have signed a trade deal with China, which isn't going to happen. That's way too quick. That would be way too quick. I would expect, because he's already talked about the trade. I bet it's going to be with India. I bet he's going to announce a trade deal with India, because India came out the other day saying that they will not be imposing any tariffs on like a bunch of U.S. goods. I can't remember everything they named off, but there was a bunch of U.S. goods they said. Or maybe Carney from Canada was just at the White House. Maybe we came to a deal with Canada. It did say, you know them, you love them, they're big, everybody, blah, 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 blah. So maybe it's Canada. Everybody loves maple syrup,
Yeah.
So, but yeah, this is what I would be watching. And then with Bitcoin, we go down to like the lower levels. Let's see, looking at the 1 hour, kind of the same thing with Bitcoin, except for it already broke the 200 way back here and then came back, touched the 21 and took off. But Stokes are a little high. They can run high if we're bullish. If we have bullish sentiment, bullish fundamental news, we can run high. But I would expect it to like kind of go sideways a little bit. It has gapped the 21 on the 1 hour. But even if it comes back, we could see something like this. We see the 21 continue to follow it. And then maybe Bitcoin, boom, boom, boom. Maybe we hit 100, get rejected, come back down, and then take off on our next leg. I'm not gonna project that right there, but it is quite possible. Cardano's gonna, look at that. Cardano just, you know what? I think we're getting a lot of. Okay, XRP hasn't crossed yet. Ondo just crossed. Aptos, no. FET just crossed. So we have a lot of bullish indicators right now. The only thing I don't like is how high the Stokes are on a lot of these coins. See, now Ondo, it crossed the 200 and the Stokes have crossed, so they need to cool off. Cardano still pointed to the upside. It hasn't topped out yet, and it's crossed the 200. I could definitely see a lot of these projects take off right now, maybe overnight. Maybe we get a little pullback. But if Cardano can get above 72, I think it's back to the races for Cardano. If Ondo can get back above $1.03, same thing. We do have some resistance right here at about 91. But these are bullish. This is bullish. I'm bullish right now. So there you are.
There we are. We're bullish. So thank you guys for joining us. We bring you the daily news nightly and 7 p.m. Pacific time. Thank you guys. I'm going to go to bed. Got work in like 6 hours. So you guys. See you guys tomorrow on the next one. Peace. Join us at Rare Evo, the top blockchain conference, August 6th through 10th, 2025, at Caesars Palace in Las Vegas. The top blockchain projects like Algorand, Midnight, HBAR, ICP, Thorchain, and Igon, and many more are going to be there. This is definitely a must for blockchain enthusiasts and fans. Use discount code CryptoNightly to save on your tickets and to support the channel. Don't miss it. We can't wait to see you there. It's going to be a blast.